got.
Yeah, I did an internship
all
out there.
AP honor classes, so like he's got a lot of college credits now. I just don't know how many, but he's gonna go
Sloan,
in.
did you go anywhere on your spring break?
It's huge, yeah.
No, I don't. I
Especially
did
when
when I
it's
was
like the academic side, trying to boost the college and schedule and everything. If you have to leg up where you're not
course, yeah, we
Gonna have a nice week this
early
week.
on.
That's
one
great.
hole I put it,
it's gonna be good for him.
We have a nice week this week.
and I
Yeah.
put it
When you get that, 'cause I remember my first year
that was
at
my
St.
shot.
Happy
It
we're
wasn't
finally
in
getting
St.
some
Francis,
warm
but I was
weather.
playing football there too, and it was just like,
That's
it
great.
was a lot, because it was just different, right? And then after that first year, it's like, okay, I got
It sounds fun. I just don't have the
You don't
time.
have reports for that moment, but you gotta worry about laundry and everything else.
Yeah, they're not yelling at you when dinner's ready. You gotta figure it out.
Isn't there like a group?
And they are helping. I try to be there to.
Okay, welcome everyone. Hope everybody had a good spring break and little vacation. And we're back to good weather here now. Thank you for bringing that to Indiana with you. Yeah, thank you, Connie, for bringing that with you. Started off with oral or written communications, the meeting minutes from March. If everybody could take a moment or two to review it, and we'll look to approve those minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you, Dustin.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jack. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried, thank you. Move along to unfinished business, none. Moving to new business. Ellsworth Street between Line and Glessner Street. Dustin, you want to take care of that, please?
Yeah, I think the problem's been fairly, pretty much resolved at this point, but we had some complaints of a residential property owner in the area parking a truck with a trailer on the street where it was making the area extremely tight and almost impassable at times, be coming through the other way. So since then, we worked with code enforcement as well as the parking enforcement officer, and they went out and chatted with the resident. It seems to be no longer an issue, but we will keep an eye on it for the future. But just kind of wanted to make sure that everybody in the public is aware, just to kind of be courteous and make sure that things are passable. Things you don't think about, emergency services and fire, and everybody trying to get to a situation as timely as they can. So making sure our roads are passable and we're all being kind of good neighbors and good citizens, is protecting that would be very beneficial.
Very good. That also includes through housing additions and things like that
Correct.
as well, that we've had complaints on from the past, and hopefully those have been worked out and takes care of that. Okay. Well, let's move on to Gateway Grove, possible stop sign locations. Justin, you're up on that.
Yeah, and we reviewed this possible stop sign placement in tech review. I believe Aaron may have some additional information if he wants to share, but the tech review committee, in short, thought it would be a good decision to have a four-way stop at this location. I don't know if we have it pulled up. As part of the new development, it just makes sense to stop traffic as it goes east-west.
I don't have anything specific to add. We talked about the formal process of, creating all-way stops and everything, and if an engineering analysis was warranted. I was planning to go down that route, but this is kind of a situation where it's a new development in a sense, not just a change to an existing intersection. I don't know exactly if that affects how the process is supposed to be done, but the way this all seems, at least while it's first new, I think in being out there with the Y, they're anticipating having, and that almost feels like a city street there with the Y approaching the south. It feels clearly that an all-way stop is going to be the safest condition out there unless we see that there is a dominant movement of traffic one way or the other that we feel. But There's also gonna be a grade change transition through that intersection into the new development, that any vehicle going more than, say, 10, 15 miles per hour might feel that transition a little bit more, so having them stop before they make that movement is gonna be helpful towards that. And part of that is so we can create a good pedestrian crosswalk that's at ADA accessible grade. That's part of the reason for the grade transition that happens through there, so.
What are the street names there at that intersection?
Fort Wayne and West.
Fort Wayne and West.
Yeah. Yeah, the present condition is it's West Street tees more or less into it. So Fort Wayne doesn't have a stop sign, so I guess making a right turn movement is just a free-flowing movement at this presently out there. Because it's the only movement to make.
So as we extend Fort Wayne, there is a stop sign. If you're heading southbound on West Street, there is a stop there. But if you're heading east or westbound on Fort Wayne, and since we're extending Fort Wayne, as Aaron mentioned, that it does make sense for us to add that stop sign in there to make that a safer intersection.
So when looking at this, I was trying to just wrap my brain about Warsaw. Whenever you're leaving a subdivision, there's usually always a stop sign. I can't think of an area there is not. So this will be consistent with what we're doing in the city.
Good point.
Yeah, after driving by there too, and I really think there's probably going to be a fairly significant amount of traffic coming in and out of that Y there. I would agree that I think a stop sign is in order.
So are we looking to put in an all-way stop? Is that what it is? All-way, or are we putting in a two-way, or?
Yeah, it becomes an all-way, yeah. I mean, it's an assumed stop out of the Y because it's a private driveway. But yes, proposing to make the other three directions all stop.
Are we going to do anything with that horseshoe? That goes into, actually goes into the Y? Or
That's private.
that's private?
So the Y owns that property?
Yes.
Should we make a recommendation to them? They have some type of control, signage control coming out of it?
I think that'd be a good idea,
Yeah.
that they have a stop sign. That way they don't assume that they can just go and all those other cars just stopping and waiting that they think that's clear.
Seems to me that it would, it just makes sense that if it would be a one-way going counterclockwise. But it's their property, so.
Justin, have you seen schematics for that, or Mr. Rock, have you seen
I was
schematics for that?
I was just thinking that they did do some modifications to the parking lot, so I'll have to take a look at those again and see what all changes they made and if there's anything we need to revisit as far as circulation. But they did do some modifications of that I don't believe are reflected on this aerial image, so.
Well, we can go through the process of an analysis, like, so this wasn't, we didn't dig in, excuse me, didn't dig into it, it just kind of became if the developer has to create a stop situation, unless we're going to consider that not being a stop situation, which is unusual, I suppose, so. But if we want to analyze it from both those sides, we can certainly look at it closer. They're not going to have this built for a few months still, or several months, so I think there's time. Is that my understanding that was what Jack was concerned, is if it's better to keep that east-west movement continuous without stops?
No,
If
not
we're
necessarily.
wondering- oh,
I
okay.
guess I was just looking at stuff that we weren't addressing.
We would, if we chose to do that and keep Fort Wayne a free movement through there, we probably will want to look at redesigning some of the grades of that intersection as well, too. If that's going to need to accommodate 20-mile-per-hour traffic, it's,
Driving westbound on Fort Wayne Street, you come up to that, and then where West Street then turns to the right, you lose sight of the road past West Street. That is why I suggest having a stop sign there at Fort Wayne westbound at West Street. Because otherwise, you're right, 20 mile an hour may be too much to see anybody coming from the other direction. So I think we need a stop sign there as well.
I agree. I move we put a stop sign here.
I would second that.
I guess that would be on the northeast corner of the intersection of Fort Wayne and West.
Right. Right. Any discussion on that?
Yeah, I think what we would need to do is confirm that an engineering study or analysis is not needed. I'm not 100% sure on that, but then that would be a recommendation for the council to adopt a stop sign at that point for that intersection to be put in ordinance, as far as I'm aware.
It was something I was already intended to do. I just didn't have it prepared for this meeting, but we can do that. I think it's easy enough and a wise enough exercise to go through that I have no problem doing it, regardless if there's a gray area there that might say we don't have to per se, but I think we document it. I feel like worst case, when this whole subdivision is built out, which is, who knows how fast that might happen, maybe we'll be revisiting it and talking about making that a through movement again and keeping West Street stopped, but there's the traffic volumes and how it all operates right now, I'm sure it'd be justified to keep it as a all way.
Should we have the engineering study done before we decide to put a stop sign there? It sounds like that's what Dustin's kind of,
Yeah, I think the analysis overall was safety. I think it's something that you can do in-house,
Yep.
fairly simple. I think it's extremely
I can have it for the next
easy to
meeting.
justify for that, so I don't foresee that being a problem. I think we could go ahead and take action, just depending on the engineering analysis added to it to make the recommendation for council. So I would move that we go ahead and make the recommendation per Aaron's study for the safety precautions in the line of sight, go ahead and add a stop sign on West Fort Wayne Street.
Thank you, Dustin. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Cindy. All in favor?
and I'll withdraw my initial motion,
Okay,
just to keep things clean.
all right, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Motion carried. All right, thank you.
I've got a question about this area. We have I think there's other stop signs in the area. Have those been placed into ordinance yet, or?
For Gateway Grove?
For Gateway Grove, yeah. I believe there's probably one
The
on Main
Street. Well, there's
and,
three.
and possibly on, yeah.
I thought last year the section that was built and officially accepted, I believe was done, but we might want to check that and verify.
Do you know? I don't recall it being approved.
It
And
may have been added in that long list that we did at the D&D, or I'll confirm it.
I don't recall us getting into that area. I know that was a particular interest to me because it was a new addition.
It might have been, it came in at a time where there was a few other new additions that I think maybe didn't all get pushed through there all at once. It was before my time here that one was accepted, so.
Let me get Eric to check into that.
yeah, I think we still have to do that, yeah.
Okay.
How many traffic signs then will we need in that area? Are there
Well,
any
if
yield
we-
signs there?
They're gonna
Or,
be putting more in with this new phase that's under construction now,
Yeah.
but presently, yeah, I think there's probably 5 or so. At every one of
Is
those
that many?
intersections, there's a stop of some sort.
and those are presently there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, the 2 roads labeled Main Street there are both accepted into our system, in public now. And that portion of Miami Street.
Miami.
From Main Street to the south as well.
We didn't have one at Miami and Maine before?
Miami-
I don't know what that
Miami
area actually
Center,
looks like.
Miami Center we do have, but not
Miami
Miami.
West Center is, but that road was all new when that was put in.
Yes,
So
that's
we'll
right.
confirm, I'll get with Eric, have him confirm that they're in ordinance. If they're not, then we'll get them added to the next list to take through.
Very good. All right. Any other discussion with Gateway Grove? Thank you, Mr. Ott. All right, moving on to committee and planning reports. Justin, do you have anything?
Nope.
Okay. Dustin, anything from your perspective?
No, it's all been fairly smooth sailing. Just a couple updates. We have added the arrow sign at the end of East Prairie Street that we talked about in previous meetings, as well as updated the signage out on Husky Trail for that right lane to either go straight or turn right, on, I guess, the north side of the car wash. At that point, we'll update the traffic markings here as soon as the weather continually warms up, so it's just been a little cold to do that yet, so. But other than that, no.
Joel, anything?
I do not have anything, thank you.
Traffic, there's a lot of police cars out on US 30, I see.
Thank you. We do what we can.
The
Sure
unmarked
you'll
car is
wait. Slow
catching a
down,
lot
wait.
of them.
North Detroit Street too, I noticed a lot there.
Good.
So you're writing a lot of tickets, chief? You're not?
Delegate that.
All right. Any other matters that come before the board? Connie?
Well, I just wanted to check and see, with me being gone, winters in Florida, and we've had some problems making the connection for the meetings. I didn't know if the mayor had someone he might want to replace my position with. I'm, willing to step down for someone that could be here at more of the meetings in the winter.
Okay, we'll bring that up to the mayor. I'd like to keep you here if we could. You represent the citizens, and it's always good to have your input.
Yeah, I'm willing to stay, I don't want it to be a problem, so.
We'll try to provide a better way to get you online. We
It
had a
was
little-
either my internet or your internet, and it just,
Well, I'm pretty sure it's on our end. My end, I should say that.
Thank you for saying that.
yeah.
Any other matters? All right, I'll entertain a motion to
Motion.
adjourn. Second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Jason, I visited your shops down there. And very, very good stuff. I recommend everyone to get down there and give them a try. Go mow. Mine, yes.
If you complain enough, we'll